notice or have difficulty with?
Hi. I had difficulty because when I wrote the homework, I wrote the belief is. Sorry, I'm out of breath because I just heard my name.
Oh, well, just enjoy it. Hi, honey. Feel that breath. Oh my gosh. It looks like joy from here, but you'll have your own name and label for it. I believe
Uh,
unto you, and you believe unto me, and hopefully we end up loving each other.
Thank you. I definitely already love you, I have to say. So
Oh, honey. Okay, so I'm yours.
I already do. So thank you.
You're
Yeah, thank you for that.
definitely mine.
Well, that's good to hear.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. Mm,
Okay, well, should I just say what the belief thing was?
yes.
Okay, so I'll put my glasses on. I complain about my father because he abandoned me.
Okay. And what is the situation where he abandoned you?
He didn't want to pay child support, so he kind of ran away and hid, and he didn't visit, and I never got birthday or Christmas cards. He married a rich woman. He always said he had no money. He just died a few months ago. Turned out he did have money, and he left it all to his second wife. And I never got a birthday card or a Christmas card or a goodbye.
Okay. So with all that information, that's a situation for all of us to sit in this with you. So let's say it's Christmas, no presents from him. Your father abandoned you, or for those of you, it's your birthday, no, no present or word from him. He abandoned you. Is it true?
Yes.
Okay, and where is the situation for you? Are you waiting for him to come home for Christmas or a Christmas card or what?
Yeah, just hoping he'd acknowledge I was alive, that I existed.
Okay, so you're waiting for a phone call, on a card, someone to say your father loves you.
Yeah, it was like he was, oh, sorry.
Acknowledgement.
Yeah, it's like I don't exist. And turned out he was kind of living a wealthy, successful, I mean, not successful, but fun life with a,
Yeah,
and didn't ever feed us. And we had to struggle. I had to put myself through
yeah,
college, which, is really, people do. It was just hard.
yeah. Okay, sweetheart. So your little girl, no Christmas present, no nothing, right? No acknowledgement whatsoever. Your father abandoned you. Is it true?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's meditate in that, and not to change your answer, but to see if there's anything under that yes that would change, that would meet that question. Is it true? Your father abandoned you. And again, this isn't to change it to a no, it's just to check it out, because you are all you've got. People can tell you, yes, he did, yes, he did, yes, he did, and no, he didn't, no. But you, this is for you. He
Well,
abandoned you. So, and the work is inquiry, not conversation. So now let's drop into it. Little girl, your father abandoned you. Is it true? Can you really know that it's true? Your your father abandoned you. He doesn't acknowledge you. Can you really know that it's true?
Well, I feel like
No, no, no. This is you with you. That's not about me. It's not about the people sitting in this with you. All of you think of that person that abandoned you, that doesn't acknowledge you, that abandoned you. All of you sit in that. Is it true? Your father abandoned you, doesn't acknowledge you. So just notice what's happening. And I'm going to move you to the third question. Notice, little girl on Christmas, what happens? No card, no letter, no present, no phone call. Notice what happens when you think the thought, my father abandoned me. He doesn't acknowledge me. He doesn't even acknowledge me. Move to the emotional first. How does it feel and where do you feel it?
my chest feels constricted and it goes into my face, like suppressing crying, so you can feel it in the front of your face. And then there's a buzzing in my ears.
Now see that little girl, look what she's going through. Now that's physically how you react emotionally when you think the thought. Now, what is your attitude as that little girl? Close your eyes and witness her in that kind of emotional pain. How does she react? Witness. Go back for her. Watch her. What does that look like? How does she interact with her mother or her siblings, herself?
Just becoming a perfectionist, but having to be perfect, overachieving. But keeping private, because it's too ugly a story, so you don't really tell anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you pretend like you have a normal family.
Yeah. No, you did.
I did.
This is you're witnessing that little believer and the power of believing yourself as that identity and the emotional that happens. And then close your eyes. My father abandoned me, doesn't acknowledge me. Now look at those images of the past where you see families together with their father and your friends with your father, and images of the future in your mind's eye of you never knowing your father, or the future where he's going to see how wonderful a perfectionist you are at everything and fall madly in love with you in the future when he discovers you. How sorry he is. You're so perfect. And you also, in the future, use the images of you never seeing him again in your life. What else do you see? I see he's so happy with his other family and he has a daughter that's better than you.
He did have a second wife.
So
So that,
whatever it is, if it doesn't fit, don't wear it.
yeah, no, it's true. I think that he had the second wife and she had money, and so they could live a fun life.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to work or pay child support.
Yeah. Plenty of room for you, but no.
Yeah. No other kids.
Okay, so just be there now in that situation, that little girl on Christmas. Now, as you see that movie of past, future, whatever it was for you, experiencing that, you're looking at the cause of your emotions. If you experience fear and terror, you're in the story of the future. Shame and guilt, etc., you're in the past.
Yep.
Now, who would you be in that situation, just as you are, little girl, without the thought, my father abandoned me?
Really productive and free and happy and very
Okay.
bubbly.
Are you guessing, or are you there now?
I mean, I can be that way and it's not fake. Like I can be very bubbly and upbeat. It's not fake, it's just, I'm not pretending. It's just that there's so much pain. I mean, it's amazing how much pain you can carry around.
So I understand. So go back to that little girl, what she said, eat under the Christmas tree. Just be there now without the thought, my father abandoned me.
Without that thought?
Yeah.
So pretend he's there?
No, without the thought he abandoned you. Like be there just as you are. Don't fake it. Be there just as you were. So sit under the Christmas tree. You see there? Now look around at the tree. Look around in your mind's eye. Close your eyes. Look at the tree. Look at the little girl. She's sitting on the ground. Is she okay other than what she's thinking and believing? Is she okay?
Yeah, very, very okay.
So be there. It's who you are without the thought. My father abandoned me. She's okay.
But is that true? I mean, if you're a person without a dad who got abandoned, doesn't that mean you're kind of marked for life? You're never going to have
No, I'm not a psychologist. I have no room to speak in those areas, but I do know that in a moment in time, even if it's only a split second, without the thought I'm working on, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
okay. The ground's holding me.
Yeah.
I'm breathing. My father abandoned me. Turn it around. What's the opposite?
I abandoned my father, but I was a child, but I still feel guilty. Like it's my fault.
Okay, now I'm not a psychologist. I'm not even a therapist. So, I don't even know about discussion because any thought I have ends in a question mark. So I'm not good there. So my father abandoned me. I just look for opposites. I just trust this world of duality. What is up, there's also a down. What is left, there's also a right. My father abandoned me. I'm going to try the opposite on as though it were a shoe that I'm in the shoe store. It's like a shoe I'm going to try on. I don't know if it's going to fit. I'm just meditating and my father abandoned me. I'm looking for an opposite. Can you find an opposite?
Yeah, I mean, there is
Well, let's look for an opposite.
I abandoned me.
So how does that shoe fit?
That seems true because to some degree I sort of gave up because I felt like, uh-oh, I must be broken. Maybe there's no point. There's
Yeah,
some, I don't exist.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
like if my father abandoned me, I must not be worth much. That's that's how it works. The ego's life depends on this identity
yeah.
of construct that you're believing onto yourself. And we don't do that on purpose. It's a happening. We're not saying, oh, I think I'll believe that now. No, the ego is showing you images of past, future, the not now, not now, not now, now we call past, future, past. But and we watch that movie and we're just devastated and then we compensate for it, etc. We're being imaged, imagined. My father abandoned me. I abandoned my father. Try that one on.
I do feel very guilty. I feel like he
Well,
was
I'm not asking you how you feel. That was in the third question.
okay.
Try on the shoe. I abandoned my father.
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Well, you feel like you did.
Yeah.
Try it on. Where does it fit? I abandoned my father.
I do feel that way. Yeah. I feel like I should have done something to fix it.
I abandoned my father. How many years between the last time you saw him and the next time you saw him?
Uh, he died. So, I mean, I hadn't seen him in like 25 years.
25 years. I abandoned my father. I believed he was this. I believed he was that. I believed him was this. I believed him was that. But you don't know. You abandon your real father and you just believed him up. He doesn't love me. He doesn't care. He da, 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 da. You have no idea.
That makes me feel bad. Like, oh no, I blew my chance and now he's dead.
Well, you can feel that way if you want, or you continue to meditate in the cause of your suffering. Your father didn't cause your suffering. What you're thinking and believing about your father is the cause of your suffering. And I can say that because it's not personal, it's just how identity happens. False identity. My father abandoned me. I abandoned my father. My father didn't abandon me. How could that, try that on? How could that possibly be true? My father didn't. Yes, it's true. He didn't come see me. Yes, it's true. He didn't call. Yes, it's, physically he abandoned me, but I want to know. My father didn't abandon me. Try on that shoe. How could that be possibly be true when he thought of his daughter, you?
My father abandoned himself.
No, we're trying on the shoe. My father did not abandon me.
My father did not abandon me.
We're just trying that on. You know, I'm going to leave you with this. Honey, I don't call it the work for nothing. I'm going to leave you with these shoes to try on. Okay? My father didn't abandon me. I don't know how many times he wanted to call me and didn't. I don't even know if he ever wanted to call me, but I'm looking at the odds. Let's see, he knew I existed. Is it possible he didn't think of me? He didn't have amnesia. I never did anything to hurt him. I was just a little girl.
No.
My father didn't abandon me. I don't know. Well, I know he felt even guilty. Don't know. You see how I'm just contemplating my father didn't abandon me. This is something only you can sit in. And I'm going to leave it to you. And did you resent your father at all?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
I abandoned my father. Try it on. And we're not looking at something to feel guilty over. We're just noticing these turnarounds. And it's a big ask. It means getting still. It means, this inside LA is inside Los Angeles. LA is a Buddhist community, this beautiful community. And as I understand it, the four noble truths. The first one is there is, as I understand it, and not being a Buddhist, check it, all of you check it out, but there is suffering in the world. I think we could all agree with that. There is a cause for this suffering. And we're looking at that. It's what I'm thinking and believing. Like an innocent child, we think, and then we believe what we see in our mind's eye. That's just imagination. It's not right or wrong, it's just noticing. And the third noble truth, as I understand it, is there is a way out of this suffering. We're not just stuck down here to suffer. There is a way out of this suffering.
I hope so.
And here's how. And this is just one way. I was graced with a way out. And this was shown to me. And there are many ways out. There are so many ways out on this planet. I haven't experienced them, but this is the one I was shown that works for me. And I have come from hell back to invite you into it. And not to invite you into hell, but out of hell and how hell is created and how innocent we are. We're not in hell on purpose. So I'm looking at the chat and some of the things going on in the chat, and so I'm going to leave you with this. And if you are in the community of Inside LA, oh boy, they'll teach you to get so still and get still, and whatever interrupts that stillness, just notice it and follow there's simple direction. To still the body, we become aware of the mind. It allows us to witness the mind. And if there's something in your mind you're trying to avoid, then inquiry is delicious. And even without inquiry, if you just meditate in and get still, you'll have so many experiences of in enlightenment. And so I'm going to leave it to you.
I was just wondering, like, what if it's just too painful? Like, I feel like I'm just going to blame myself for it and then feel like he died and I blew it. And I don't know if I can handle that, you know?
Well, I would write down, I blew it. And I would write down, he died. He can't die. He lives in you all these years. If he's in the bathroom and you're in the kitchen, when you're a little girl, he's literally in the bathroom, you're literally in the kitchen, and you think he's in the bathroom. For all you know, he's in the bedroom. For all you know, he went to the market. But no, he's in the bathroom, and I'm in here. The believer. Oh, sweetie, Robin, honey, you are just so in the right place. I started where you are, and if I can do this, anyone can do it.
Really?
Oh, honey. Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, honey, yes. And we have a helpline that's 100% free. And you fill in a worksheet, and then you call that helpline. They go to ask your name or where you're from, and they'll work you through it. And they have patience. You can do that. And we have some certified facilitators that have really set in this practice in a beautiful way, and they're there to work with you too. So blessings be yours. It's just about waking up to them, my heart. Okay, so everyone now, and Robin, I invite you to this, sweetheart, just to take a breath, find the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. Everyone find your Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And this worksheet, I set like 30 something years ago. I had this gift of grace, this given, and getting really still, it sounded like this. I'm not happy because, and I want, and I need, and they should, and they shouldn't, and I shouldn't, and I don't ever want, and it was just I want, I need, this repetition, and they should, and they shouldn't, and I'm angry because, and it was just like 6 things over and over and over, and only the nouns would change. Okay, so I invite everyone to get your worksheet and close your eyes and identify a situation where you were in an argument with someone, or they were in an argument with you. Those two are different, even though they sound the same. So you're in an argument with someone. And who was that person? And what was the emotion you were experiencing? And why were you angry or hurt or frustrated, whatever the emotion? And Robin, for yours, it might be, I am hurt with my father because he deserted me. And for some of you, you would fill in number 1 on this Judge a Neighbor worksheet. I invite you to move if you really made headway with your one belief at a time homework over lunch, that you moved what you worked on there, that you move it to number 1 on this Judge a Neighbor worksheet. So let's do that now. And stay in the situation to fill in this worksheet. I'm inviting you to be there now in that situation with that person, in touch with that emotion and why you're feeling that way. Mine is, I'm angry with Paul because he lied to me. My situation is, I'm in the kitchen. I can smell the smoke and the tobacco. He's been smoking. He's had 4 heart attacks. The doctor said the next one could kill him. I am terrified. We're in this major war of words and emotions. I am furious, which now I see as really terror, fear. So I am angry. That's what I experienced at the time with Paul because he lied to me. He denied he was smoking. Okay, so to fill in this worksheet, I'm going to stay in that kitchen with Paul, and I'm going to get grounded. I see the kitchen sink. Off to my left, I see a window. I can see the sky through it. I'm arguing with Paul. He's in front of me. I see it. I'm out of control. We're both standing. So I'm going to anchor there in that situation as I continue to fill in this worksheet. And I invite you all to do the same. So in that situation, I'm assuming you have number 1 filled in. In that situation, what did you want from that person? How did you want them to change? What did you want that person to say or do or be? So meditating in that state of mind, then fill in number 2. I only know one way to fill in this worksheet, and that is to be there now and identify the cause of my suffering. The cause of my suffering is what I was thinking and believing then. I really thought he was the cause of my suffering. I was looking in the wrong direction. Okay. So continuing to be then there in that time and place now. What advice would you offer that person to get what you want? What advice would you offer that person? Paul should, Paul shouldn't. What was the cause of my suffering? What I was thinking and believing then. So collecting them as closely as I can now. Filling in this worksheet. Now let's move to number 4. Notice your emotions when you're believing these thoughts. Look at your state of mind and see it in your mind's eye. Your state of mind, the one that you were in then. Now, what do you need to be happy? What could that person say or do that would move you from that anger or frustration from there to happy? And fill in 4. I need Paul to stop talking over me. I need him to really listen to me. In that situation, that would have made me really happy. Meditating in that time and place now. Be there now. What were your thoughts about that person? Your complaints. And number 5, what were your thoughts about that person? Make a list. And when we're angry or upset, don't expect your thoughts to be kind. They really are petty and cruel. The ego's life depends on it. Paul is a liar. He's arrogant. He's a liar. He's unconscious. Fill in 5. And on the last one, what is it about this person and situation that you're writing about? What is it about that person or that situation that you never want to experience again? And fill in the last one, number 6. Okay, so how many of you need more time with this worksheet? Raise your hands. Wonderful. No hands that can be seen anyway. So, what was that experience like for you? You know, we're always, it seems, in the past and future. The ego wouldn't have it any other way. It couldn't survive any other way because it's an illusion. What do I mean by that? If you imagine yourselves biting into a big, ripe, juicy lemon right now, what happened? Was there a physical sensation in your mouth? So obviously the lemon was an illusion. You saw the lemon in your mind's eye. But not only that, you projected the entire experience that you felt onto that lemon as though the illusion, the illusion. Okay, so any questions about this worksheet?
We have Salmia.
Soumya, hi honey. Were you able to get through this worksheet easily? So I can't.
Hi, Katie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi. Thank you. I'm filling out a work. Say again?
What was that like for you, filling in the worksheet?
It was really intense, and I can really ground myself in that situation.
Yeah. So what was the situation?
So the situation is that I'm making a presentation in front of an audience of people that I love and respect. And it's a project I really care about. And I'm panicked and anxious. And I wrote on my worksheet, I am terrified with my audience because they're going to think that I'm a failure.
Excellent.
And I wanted to know if that's a good way to approach that kind of a worksheet.
Yes, it is, because you were thinking and believing it in that experience, and you've identified those thoughts. So absolutely perfect. So I want to go back to that beautiful woman
Sorry, just one second. My battery's dying, of course. Okay. I'm here now.
I want to go back. I want to be there with you, and I invite everyone to be with you on that stage in our imagination. So now we're all with you as closely as we can be. So that audience, so to do this work, be there now on that stage. They will think you're a failure. They will think you're a failure. Is it true? Can you really know that it's true that this audience will think you're a failure?
Yes, in that moment, yes.
Okay, so now I'm asking you to question it. You were believing it, that's why you put it on paper. So let's go back. We left that beautiful young woman stranded up there on that stage, and it'll affect your other presentations.
She's still there.
Yeah. So let's take care of it. Will it, as they say. So close your eyes, and I'm going to ask the questions, and you answer me from that terrified woman. Let her meditate in this. When you speak, they will think you're a failure. Can you absolutely know that it's true? They'll think you're a failure when you speak. Even if you make all the mistakes in the world, can you really know that they will think you're a failure?
No, I can't know that.
So just feel that and stay there on the stage. Now notice what happens emotionally when you believe that thought.
I get terrified. I feel a tightness in my chest, and I get dizzy. And in that situation, I actually fainted.
Yeah.
And so it gets really intense in my body.
Okay. Now there's a reason you felt that way, and there's a reason you fainted. So close your eyes. You think the thought, they'll think I'm a failure. We saw physically how you reacted. Now see if you can see the subtle past and future images that were going on when you had the thought, they will think I'm a failure.
I see them thinking I'm a failure, and then I see a future where this happens every time that I try to publicly speak. I see a future where I don't have opportunities because people give up on me or don't trust me.
Yeah, it's like reputation is just ruined.
Yeah.
They can't trust you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So as you witness that, that's enough to make you faint.
Yeah.
So now, who would you be standing up there in front of the microphone or with them wearing the mic, looking out at that entire audience? Close your eyes, look out at your audience without the thought, they will think I am a failure. Just get really still, get present, look at their faces. Without the thought, they will think I'm a failure. Get connected. Just be there until you're comfortable. Without the thought, they think I'm a failure. You okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You're still standing.
Yep.
Good.
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I had some noise going on in the background.
It worked for me. So now let's turn it around. What is the opposite of they will think I'm a failure?
They will think I'm a success.
So try that on.
Good. Yeah, could see it.
I have an example. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
I have no idea how many people in that audience will never stand on a stage. They're so frightened.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if I fainted that it gives people permission to be afraid and to take chances.
Yeah, that's really true.
It gives me opportunity to admit I'm on stage, I'm really afraid right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do my best.
Yeah.
You see how we're shedding false identity? I'm the confident one, and we're just connecting with everyone out of our real self.
Yeah. It was the most authentic thing that could have happened for sure.
I don't want to pretend that I'm something I'm not even for the sake of people saying, oh, she's a success, because I'll never own it. I can't.
Yeah.
But what we're looking at now is a success I can own. Yeah, I was terrified. And you can also say at the end of the speech, how many of you think I'm a failure because I fainted?
That's a really good question.
It's coming out of integrity without trying to conceal
Yeah.
this identity that's not working for me anyway.
Yeah, that's really true. And part of what made me feel so scared in the beginning too was that I felt like I was hiding something. I can't let them see how scared I am.
Yeah, and you were hiding something.
Yeah.
Yeah. People want to know about you when you're standing there. And that's the last thing you wanted to share.
Yeah.
So, sweetheart, let's look at number 2. I want. In that situation, what did you want?
Yeah, so I wrote, in that situation, I want my audience to accept me, love me, smile at me, leave me alone, honestly, in that situation, and think I'm intelligent.
Oh my gosh, you're describing straitjacket. You could be the wisest person ever hitting the stage, and we're going to think all those things about you or not. Anyway,
Yeah.
you can't manipulate what we think and believe. And to try to is terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you about that. It's, oh, you fainted, and that's like worst nightmare for so many people. That,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So you want, we're all in the audience, you in that situation, you want us to accept you.
Yeah.
Oh, us. Is it true? Do you even have any way of knowing if we accept you or not? You want us to accept you. Is it true? You're trying to control our minds and trick us? Like, you want us to accept you. Is it true? we live in a world where that's the thing. That's the thing. It's not the thing. And let's prove that out. How do you react when you think the thought? What happens when you think the thought? You want the audience to accept you.
And I'm terrified because I'm afraid that they won't. And I put all that on them.
Now, how are you afraid they won't? You see them not accepting you in your mind's eye.
In my mind's eye.
Standing on the stage, how do you react when you think the thought, I want the audience to accept me? You see them booing you. You see them giving you a look. You see them whispering to each other with their hand hiding their mouths. And that's all going on in your egoic head. In its imagination. And you see that, and you see them doing that. Now, who would you be? Just drop your story. I want the audience to accept me. Who are you without that thought? Just stand there, look at the audience.
I would be grateful for all these people who came to my presentation, who cared enough to come and support me, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Which they did, even when you fainted.
Yeah, big time. Somebody brought me some water, and somebody brought me some chocolate, and they told stories while I recovered, and it was actually kind of sweet.
You didn't even have to speak.
No.
I want the audience to accept me. So look out there at them without putting that kind of dictatorship onto them. I want you to think that, and I want you to think this, and I want you to accept it. I want you to do the ego.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Who would you be without the thought, I want the audience to accept me?
I would be interested.
Wow.
Be connected to them and to me, and curious.
Wow.
And learning.
Yeah, that's a reason to be on stage. That's a reason to do what you do. I want the audience to accept me, turn it around.
I don't want the audience to accept me.
Yeah. Just, you can't control our minds. So just to let us have our own mind. We're on our own path. You can't control us. I don't want the audience to accept me. See, that's unconditional love. Allowing people to think what they think, say what they say. Understanding that if you believed what they believe, which I want the audience to accept me, and you see another turnaround, put you on all of it. I want me.
Oh, wow, yeah. I want me to accept me.
Yeah,
I want me to love me,
yes.
Smile at me, leave me alone. Oh my gosh. think I'm intelligent.
Yeah, and any honest human being is an intelligent human being.
Yeah.
They're awake to something really important.
Yeah. That would be the intelligent thing to do.
Now there's a whole other turnaround. I want me to accept the audience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And continue to read.
I want me to accept my audience, to love my audience, to smile at my audience, Yeah. To leave my audience alone.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
What they think.
Let them judge their own way. Let them think what they think and have their opinions.
And I want the audience to think I'm unintelligent.
Yeah. Freeing.
In other words, they're going to think what they think. I can't control it.
Yeah, that's one that I didn't think of. I think that's a really good turnaround.
So let's look at 3.
Okay. So, should I read what I wrote?
Yes.
Okay, so I wrote, in this situation, my audience shouldn't judge me, look at me, think critical thoughts about me, misunderstand me. And I wrote, they should be supportive, interactive, and they should not ask hard questions.
You see how crazy this is?
Crazy.
Great. No wonder you fainted.
Yeah, I had a lot going on in my mind.
Yeah, it's like I dictate how the whole world thinks, how they feel, how they see.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're not alone. That's the ego's world. Oh, honey. So it's like it is the ultimate virus. It's and it spreads. You know, we put COVID-19 up against this kind of mind. Boy, it's you know, if we are really physically ill and our mind is clear, it's may sound odd, but what a trip. Most exciting trip if you understand how to meet your thoughts with inquiry. It's and this is a practice. And it's and I invite people, you know, to sit in your worksheets at least 20 minutes, maybe in the morning, just 20 minutes out of your life, and it will shift your life. At the mercy of ego. You know, we have a term for it. It's hell.
Totally.
And we live in a friendly universe. But what we're thinking and believing about this world, this universe, you know, it needs to be questioned because we don't live in this world. We live in the world of imagination and false identity. So let's look at number 3. The audience shouldn't judge you. Is it true?
No, they should, because that's what people do.
We think you're wonderful. We think you're not wonderful. We think you're wrong. We think you're right. We relate to you. We don't relate to you.
Don't.
Yeah. The audience shouldn't judge you. We judge ice cream. We judge the sky. We judge the wind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the audience.
So physical, like for me, you know, it's almost lucky that it's physical for me because I can't ignore it, and I have to look at why I feel this way.
Yeah, we're in Earth School, and you know, in school, the audience shouldn't look at you.
Yeah. What else are they supposed to do, right?
Exactly. That's what they came for.
Yeah.
So the audience shouldn't think critical thoughts about you. Is that even possible?
No.
No, it's how the mind works.
Yeah.
The audience should understand you. Is it true?
Yeah. No. No, in fact, I was speaking in a second language, which is part of why it was so hard for me, but so I can't even guarantee that they did understand me, even just on a language level. So no, they shouldn't.
Even though you fainted, you are one courageous person to go that far. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sweetheart, the audience shouldn't judge you. Is it true?
No, I can see that now.
Now close your eyes, be there now in that situation. Notice what happens when you think the thought that they shouldn't judge you. Notice the emotions that happen.
Yeah, I tighten up. I get that telltale feeling of dizziness and just freak out.
And notice those images, the movie of past future that was going on in your brain in that situation when you had the thought they shouldn't look at you.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't think critical thoughts.
Yeah, I see a future where it just happens again and again because I'm never good enough for them not to think critical thoughts.
And you see the past where
I didn't work hard enough to be good enough.
okay. Now tell me something. When you look at that, what is the cause of your suffering? What you're thinking and believing, or the audience?
It's definitely what I'm thinking and believing.
Yeah, you know, the mind has a thought. It's like you see the images, and then your mind be in your head, and then your mind believes onto those images, and then that's like fusion. It's creation.
Yeah.
Creates identity. We really, and we see that, we believe onto it,
Yeah.
and then it becomes us, and we faint, or we're nervous, or we trip over our tongues, or get through it, and then say, "We'll never do it again," even though everyone loved it. I'll never do
Right,
that.
right. Yeah. Right. Or even if it goes well, go, well, that's just this time. And next time it's really gonna.
Yeah, yeah, because that fake us is standing up there and got away with something.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be at home in ourselves is to be at home everywhere. And we're at home in ourselves. And we know the difference between being movied, the dream world, and reality. Reality is always kinder than the ego would have us believe. So the audience should understand you. Is it true?
No.
The audience shouldn't ask hard questions. Is it true?
I don't want them to, but they should.
What they come for.
Mm-hmm.
They think that's what we're there for too. We're there for.
That's what I invited. That's what the whole thing was about, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's just turn the whole thing around.
Yeah. So did I do it to I don't want, or?
The audience should judge me.
Oh, yeah. My audience should judge me. They should look at me. They should think critical thoughts about me. And they shouldn't understand me, or they should misunderstand me. They shouldn't be supportive, interactive, and they should ask hard questions.
Yeah, no, you understand your audience.
Yep. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. So I shouldn't judge my audience. I shouldn't think critical thoughts about my audience. I should understand my audience, and you're really getting a good picture of them now.
Yeah, I am.
I should ask myself hard questions.
Oh, yeah.
About
Yeah,
what
doing that right now. Yeah.
Okay, we need to think of 4.
Okay.
You know, for some of you,
So,
it would take you a week to get through one worksheet, 20 minutes a day. It might take you a week just to get through number 1. This is a process that it will shift your DNA. It,
yeah.
it will, the way you see everything, and that changes everything. It changed my skin, it changed my appearance, it changed my energy, the way I saw the world. My identity shifted. It's like I smoked cigarettes when the work found me, and I picked one up and it looked insane. It's like, what? You know, just the way you're seeing the audience, it's just like, it just ceases. Anything, fear is crazy. And anything crazy just shows up blatantly and simply as crazy. And it just makes so much sense that it shifts us. Smoking quit me. So many things quit me. And all I did was just get real as I sat and what I was thinking and believing. It woke me up to reality. It's no one can give me that but me. No one can give you this but you. Let's look at 4. What do you need to be happy in that situation?
Okay. This one was kind of hard for me to fill out because in that moment, I don't know what they could do to make me feel better. But I tried my best. So I wrote, I need my audience to tell me I'm interesting, tell me I'm helpful, show me that they think I'm intelligent, that I can do this.
Yeah. So if the audience did all of that, would that make you happy? Would you even believe them?
No.
No, a low opinion of them. We saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I already don't trust them to to be my audience. So
So to be happy, I need me.
I need me to tell me I'm interesting.
Yeah, yeah. That's not their job.
Yeah.
They might, you never know, but you know, just stay home with your beauty. You're fascinating when you're honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least comfortable in all situations. You know, people like you and me, we settle for that. It's like, yay.
Yeah.
Yes, to be at home where we are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
continue to be happy. I need me.
I need me to tell me I'm helpful and to show me that I think I'm intelligent and to tell me that I can do this. Yeah. Those are all true. And those are all what would have averted the crisis to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's move to 5.
Okay.
To be
So,
happy, I don't need the audience to tell me I'm interesting.
yeah.
I don't need the audience to tell me I'm helpful. I need me to experience those things. Okay, so 5.
So in number 5, I wrote, my audience is scary, cold, judgmental, uncaring, critical, harsh, and threatening. And I really just went for it there with anything that I could find. So I didn't actually think those about those people, but
The mind happens so quickly when we try to sum it up and get a feel for it. That's how it comes out on a worksheet.
yeah.
It just does. This is a discovery, and so that's as good as it gets when I fill in a worksheet too. I just
Yeah.
throw myself into it and try to collect the thoughts I was thinking. And we tell, we've been told those are bad, they're unkind, there's something,
Yeah.
but there's no one in the world that hasn't had these thoughts. Everyone's had thoughts. They're scary, they're cold, not an audience, but maybe someone they live with. They're judgmental, they're uncaring, they're critical. And school growing up, the teacher is harsh. He's threatening. There are no new stressful thoughts. They're all recycled. So we're questioning. So it doesn't just give you freedom to stand on a stage, like a baby. You're stepping into the most important thing in the world, which is your happiness. And a stage for some of us, that's just a part of Earth School. It's not about the audience.
Yeah.
It's about us being free to be where we are and to live out our heart's desire and the way life flows for us, to be at home. So my thoughts about the audience on 5 are scary.
Oh, yeah.
Cold.
My thoughts about the audience are scary and cold and judgmental. I'm casting these people who care about me and came out to see me and support me as these scary people that are going to judge me and judge me as a failure. Like, there couldn't be more opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thoughts about the audience were uncaring, critical, harsh, and threatening. I just feel that when we're sitting at home alone in these worksheets and just being there now and experiencing those emotions, and then looking out at the audience in our mind's eye in these turnarounds, it's so powerful. It's like being there now. Which is as close as we ever get to anything. So let's look at 6.
Okay. So number 6, I wrote, I don't ever want to experience feeling dizzy and faint from fright in front of an audience ever again. Ever.
Ever. I'm willing to.
I am willing to feel dizzy and faint from fright in front of an audience again.
I look forward to.
I look forward to the next time I'm in front of an audience and I feel dizzy and afraid.
Yeah. I look forward to feeling dizzy and faint from fright in front of an audience again. And if you never stand in front of an audience again, that experience will come to your mind.
Yeah.
And if you're not at home when your ego brings that back to you, if you're not at home and comfortable and even have a little smile on your lip, it starts to feel like the silliest thing. So the nightmare, once you wake up to it, shifts your entire life. And every concept you sit with here, we haven't been that thorough because, time constraint. But everything here will affect the way you see every human being. It's not just the audience in a presentation. These are what we think about the people we live with, the people we see on television, the people we see walking down the streets. It's not a little thing. Thank you, Precious. You are very brave.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it.
Oh, someone asked me to talk the first time. What was it? They asked me if I would speak. And And I only knew to say yes to anything at the time. I've come to understand that even my no is a yes. So, you know, I'm just clear about my yeses and nos. And, you know, I won't go into that, but then I was just yes to everything. And they asked me if I'd speak, and an agoraphobic to stand in front of a crowd of people and speak. And I just said yes. And I put on these funny clothes, and meaning I dressed. And I went to the address they said to go to. I arrived when they told me to. You see how I just followed this simple direction. I don't have to think. There was no worry. There was no, I understand that the universe is friendly now. I understood it was friendly. There is no harm other than what I'm thinking and believing about any given situation and or person or thing. And so I did that, and then they showed me where to sit. They gave me tea, all these people, and a massive room, and then they introduced me, and I don't know why I'm telling this story. It's not the first time I've told it, but they invited me up on stage and then left me there, and I'm standing in front of a microphone looking out at everyone, and I had no idea what to do. You have to understand my experience was radical, but out of that I knew to say yes. So I'm standing there, and what I recalled was we had this this little dog when I was little, and we would hold food up in front. We'd go, speak, speak, and he would speak. And I had no idea what they meant, and that's all I knew. And then I just started to speak and answer questions. And in the end, they liked it and invited me back, because I can only speak out of my experience. And that's what I did. So then people relate or they don't, just like you, fainting. Probably a lot more people related to you there than they did with me standing up there, by far. But I don't need to know I'm at home in this world. And I've come to see that there's no downside. If they say, don't ever, ever, ever speak again, they're doing me a service. If they say, oh, come back, they're doing me a service.
Really beautiful.
Well, it's thank you, honey. And it's just being at home in yourself. Once we understand the cause of all suffering and how to deal with it, and thank you for bringing that to us today, then we understand that fear of is a state of mind, not a state of world, but the world as we believe it. Thank you, precious.
Thank you, Katie.
Oh, so welcome. Spend more time in that. We rushed through it. Even, yeah. Okay. So, any questions about what you just any questions about what you just experienced internally out there? Any hands raised?
We have a question from Michelle.
Michelle, you have a question, honey? Hi, Michelle.
Let's see if I can unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I had a question before about the turnarounds that you use.
Mm-hmm.
You said something earlier. You said we don't like use the turnarounds to get stuck in another concept, but just to try it on. And I've been confused by that in the work. I feel sometimes like the turnaround is just another crappy concept that I get stuck in.
No, what I invite people to do is to just try it on, meditate in that. What does that mean to you? How does it apply to that situation? Contemplate it, meditate in it. Like, he doesn't care about me. When I turn that around, he does care about me. My ego might want to say, well, that's not true, or say, but no, just try it on, settle it down. He does care about me. Like, yeah, but. No, just try the shoe on. You can put it down anytime. He does care about me. Okay, in that situation, be there now. Can I see one reason to think that he did care about me? So I'm meditating in a time and place, being there now, witnessing, waking up to a reality now that I may have missed then. But I'm not going to con myself into believing what isn't shown to me. I'm not going to just trade one belief for another. No.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, it seemed confusing to me in the beautiful example that you did with Robin, where she was talking through her father abandoning her and then trying on those turnarounds of like, I abandoned him, or he didn't abandon me. And those feel like other unhelpful concepts to me that like you would get stuck in and then suffer from almost as much as the first one. That's kind of where I get stuck with it.
You know, I look out the window now and I see a tree and I just contemplate the tree. No differently than I would contemplate a turnaround. No differently. No, attachment is attachment. We're not attached to things. We're attached to what we're believing about apparent things. So no, just gently notice. And the ego doesn't like to lose. Like, he abandoned me, turned around, he didn't abandon me. Ego doesn't like to lose that one. So it's going to pop away out as far away from it as it can get. Just kind of just gently move back in, try it on. Doesn't mean it's going to fit. Okay. I'm not going to force it for sure. He didn't abandon me. I'm just going to get still and see what shows up. Yeah. I don't believe in anything until it's shown to me, and I'm a skeptic. I get really still in this stuff. It's where the answers are. There are layers of egos. It's a terrified child. And the more we see through it, the more terrified it gets. But once it begins to trust, that wisdom is wisdom, that it's wise and kind and patient. Is it true? And these turnarounds, and so gentle and slow. Eventually that ego finds a home in that wisdom. It just merges. It's the end of conflict, the end of war. And it's the most beautiful thing. The ego's terrified of its non-existent self. It knows it's not real. It is simply a construct of the not. But love, wisdom, creativity, those are descriptions for the mind that matches our true nature. And they're right in us. It's a match. And these emotions we've been witnessing today as we've done inquiry, how we react when we bleed out emotionally, those things show us where out of our freaking heads.
Mm.
No wonder we feel that way when we get still and isolate that thought. We come to see it again. Violence is a crazy state of mind. So anyone that is violent, when you look out at the world and you see violence, if I'll say it again, if I believed what they believed, that would be my life too. So are they guilty? Do they even have a choice? No. It is a mental virus where we're just killing each other and the trees and the water and it's a virus
Mm-hmm.
that it's like I'm a cell in this. You are in me. In other words, you are who I believe you to be. And if I think of you or see you or think of you even tomorrow, if I don't feel connected, then it would be a worksheet, because what I put on you, I'll put on any form.
Mm.
It's not personal. To love what you think is to love the world and everything in it. It's a match to your nature.
Mm.
Terms for it, like love, connection. But in my world, no one's guilty. It doesn't mean they didn't say what they said or do what they did. Just that no one's guilty. So where's my compassion? Where is it that I disconnect? Understanding is a term for connection.
Mm. Can I ask you one more thing?
Huh?
Okay, so then in that turnaround, it's less about getting stuck with another idea is true and more about opening up to that there's multiple possible ideas and that your ego's one way of looking at it is not the only way to see it? Is that more of the rationale?
I couldn't have said it more clearly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But then not to get stuck in that other turnaround and then torture yourself with the turnaround, but just to open up to other possibilities?
To be stuck in the old same old, not inquiry. It's that I know mine, just saying, ooh, I'll just live right here in this fantasy.
I love you, and I love your work. It's helped me tremendously for many, many years, but the turnaround is the part I always struggle the most with, but I still pull it out and do it all the time.
Oh, that's so good. No, we so many into so many of us. It's you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Well, I don't know if I can do it, and do what and why.
Mm-hmm.
If the universe is friendly, I've got everything I need right here, right now. And if I haven't had food in 5 days or water, I get to witness that.
Yeah.
I get to witness that. But the thought, oh, I'm going to die, it's even that becomes just literally laughable. Because what is it that lives? Did you hear me say, what is it that lives?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of the past.
Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Any other questions about these worksheets? Any place you got stuck?
We have a question. Okay. We have a question from Jessica.
Jessica? Hi, Jessica.
I didn't ask a question. Are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong Jessica.
No, that's okay.
So your sound?
There we go. You're unmuted.
So your sound?
They're doing it at the same time.
There
Good.
it's coming now.
I can hear you now. Oh, I can't hear you now. If we don't control her sound at all and let her do it, maybe that would work. So Jessica, like your sound.
I'm
Okay.
trying.
I'm now it's working.
Yes.
Thank you so much for providing this. It's really amazing. But I had a question for you. So one of the things I wrote here, doing this work, would this be a continual? Will this cause a continual denial? Basically, growing up like in sexual abuse, child abuse.
No, denial is the cause of suffering in the first place. And so this work brings us out of denial.
Okay.
Fear is, as we know, a state of mind. And so I go back to that fearful place, no matter how terrifying it was, that place I said I never want to go back to again. And I sit alone with myself and I go back to that place, no matter how horrendously painful or frightening it or traumatizing it was. I go back, I sit in the center of that, and I identify what I was thinking and believing in that time and place. I put it on this worksheet. And then I sit with them one by one belief at a time. And, you know, I traumatized me. And I'm not saying that person didn't abuse me. And it's certainly not right. And I hope that person does better. It takes a horrendously tortured state of mind to harm another human being. And I say that because guilt is the effect of our lack of kindness. But I go back and I identify what I was thinking and believing about that person. And I just can't tell you, the freedom, you know, when I look back, rather than looking back at a nightmare, I look back and and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there's such a deep understanding that there's no pain in it. And then it ceases to come back because the ego can't use it as a source of identification. I'm deleting my history, the history of pain, but not the history of love. That we have no choice over. Our true nature, you know, we call love, connection, you know, that is our nature, and that's immovable. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing. And the ego can argue against that all it wants. But what a lonely world. What a
Okay.
lonely mind without a body trying to identify as a something.
I think I understand what you're saying. So what I hear is that this work will help to bring up a lot of the denial and heal through it.
Well, if it becomes your practice, all of it.
Okay. Thank you.
All of it. But I would do the whole worksheet. Okay. So let's look at let's all look at our worksheets again and look at your number 2, 3, and 4, and turn those, what you've written, turn them around to the opposite, and then turn them around to yourself as you contemplate the situation. And, you know, this is really cheating you. You know, these are what I call living turnarounds, but I want you to have a taste of it. So in that situation you've written about, turn it around. In that situation with that person, I want, number 2, I want me to. And then do the same thing with 3 and 4 and see if it's a better fit. At least as equal. There are 2, sometimes 3 ways of turning these around, to the self, to the other. Just try them on slowly. How many of you need more time in this? Hands up. So in the situation with Paul, number 2, I want Paul to see he is wrong. In that situation, I want me to see that I am wrong. That's a tall order. When I turn it around, I want me to see that I'm, no, I don't know that, well, that work's not for me yet. I want me to get gentle in this. I want Paul to see that he's wrong. Why is it so good for him and not for me? If I think it's so worthy, let it begin with me. He's obviously not going to admit it. Or was I wrong? And I sit in that. And then I go back to Paul. These are living turnarounds. I admit to him where I was wrong in that situation. I apologize to Paul. That's like, ugh, you can get so physically sick doing this. But if I expect it of you, let me try it on. And if it's that difficult, if you can't do it, I understand. And I'm going to do what I can. But I'm ready. I'm going to admit it. Apologize and make it right where I can. And the way that works for me is the next time anything like that comes up in my life, that behavior of mine doesn't happen. I'm living the turnaround. And that is making it right where I can. I'm protecting the world from me. And this egoic head. You want to save the world? Save it. You want there to be peace in the world? Get it in your world. And in 3, Paul shouldn't frighten me with his behavior. So in that situation, I shouldn't frighten me with my behavior. Living turnaround. I was out of control in that situation. It was a serious, hardcore argument. Advice to myself, that's number 3. I shouldn't frighten Paul with my behavior. You see how these are living turnarounds? They don't even have to be spoken. When you really get these, they become your life. Anything less than that for me is living as a hypocrite. How can I direct your life in my mind or words? What right do I have until I can try that on and live out of it? And this work makes it gives you clear direction, and it's nothing you have to do. It's just freeing. What do I need to be happy? I need Paul to stop talking over me. How many of you have I talked over today? I missed what you had to say. And I feel so dense, I can't recall even talking over any of you today. And who knows? So I leave that to you. And if you love me, you say, Byron, Katie, you talked over me and you did. And I go, oh my gosh, you see how awake I am? It's like they're telling me. But what I'm thinking and believing about their attitude is the cause of my suffering, not what you're saying or your tone of voice. I need Paul in that situation for me to be happy. I need him to really listen to me. Turned around in that situation for me to be happy. Oh, I need me to really listen to me. I was loud. I was cruel. I mean, my my attack on him could kill him before smoking could when I look back. This man with these 4 massive coronaries and hospitalizations, but that didn't stop me. You know, these people in my life, they're my teachers in Earth School. They're the best. They're my teacher. They wake me up to reality. They wake me up to myself and my nature. So, any questions? Anything you noticed that you became aware of, maybe, that you'd like to share with us?
We have Kim.
Kim. Hi, Kim. Oh, you look so comfy and cozy there.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Wow. Thank you. You're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love your state of mind.
Thank you.
You know, I just hear everything is beautiful. It's okay.
It's not always how it sounds in there, though. You earlier had mentioned that you were going to talk a little bit about guilt, and I'm a mama, and there's just a lot of guilt.
Okay, so what did you say or do toward one of your children that you felt guilt over?
One thing? Okay, let's see.
Let's count the ways.
Find one thing. Well, I did my Judge Your Neighbor worksheet on my son, Jeff.
Well, let's hear reading your worksheet.
Okay.
And let's him instead of Jeff.
Say that again.
Let's say him instead of his name.
Okay. I am angry and helpless with my son, with him, because he doesn't want to do school.
Okay. So he doesn't want to do school. What is the situation where he doesn't want to do school?
Well, we're at home. He's 8, and he's expected, or he has a list of subjects that he needs to complete every day, and a Zoom call every day. And I'm also divorced, so my kids split time between me and their dad. But whether they wake up here or they come to me, Jeff, my son, says every day, "I wish it wasn't a school day."
Okay.
So yeah, the day starts with that, and I feel anxious.
Okay, so close your eyes and meditate in that situation where he says, "I don't want to do school today." And what, are you at the breakfast table or?
Usually just in our living room. And that's the particular place that's coming up.
So you're in the living room and it's just the two of you?
And my daughter's there too, but she's doing her own thing.
Okay, so your daughter's there, your son's there, and he says, "I wish it wasn't a school day today." Okay, you see that in your mind's eye, that situation. So anchor in that situation in the living room. Look at him. He says, "I wish I wasn't in school today." And how do you react when he says that? So witness, do you become aggressive? Look at your attitude, experience your emotions, just witness how you react when he says, "I wish it wasn't a school day today."
I just shut down. I feel helpless. I feel alone. I feel panic.
So what movie is running in your head of past future when you hear him say, I wish it wasn't a school day today?
The future is that this is how crazy this is. I'm going to be honest.
We're all crazy when we're upset. Don't expect anything but crazy thoughts.
He's going to be an alcoholic.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's all my fault.
Yes.
Just
And
like my mom.
And you just feel the terror. Now, look at him. He says, I wish it wasn't a school day today. Now take those Post-its off of him, of the future. He's going to be an alcoholic, like my mom, take all that off of him, get present, drop all your story about him. Look at him as he says, I wish it wasn't a school day today. Look at him. Get in touch with him. He's 8. He's got a screen interest. There are things he wants to do that are.
He wants to build Legos.
Yeah.
He's like pure.
Now notice how you react. Go back there. He just wants to build Legos. And he's giving you an honest thought. He's telling you about his internal life. I wish it wasn't a school day today. I mean, haven't you all, those of you who have children, haven't you all wanted to know what your children really think? Well, that's it. I wish it wasn't a school day today. He wants to build Legos. So now look at you, but you're being imaged, imagined, your ego's at work. You see him as an alcoholic, you see him failing, and it's all your fault. And everyone's pointing at you and say, yep, it was her. Yep. Yep. He could really been something if she were not his mother. Okay. Who would you be without the thought? And how do you react with the thought? Now, this is the tough part for all of us until you realize the freedom that comes with it. Look at the way you approach him when he says, I wish it wasn't a school day today. Close your eyes and look at her as though you've just walked in the room, you've never seen, just look at her. What does she say? What does she do? What is her attitude?
She says, I know. But inside, she feels panic and hate and rage.
And how does it show up? She's got to let it show up. We don't want them to see us that way, but we make sure they know how we feel.
Yeah. It might not show up in that moment, but it shows up later, like in this tightness, this rigidity of saying no and no and blame and blame.
So you blame him.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you feel the guilt.
Yeah.
And then you become even Some of us have been violent.
Yes.
And then the guilt.
Yes.
And then what happens in guilt? We really become violent people. And on a scale from 1 to 10, just a 1 is violent. Some of us get up to 10s. We murder, we kill, all kinds of stuff. And then guilt. And then it's their fault. It's this hamster cage. Okay, so guilt. And I think let's just stay there before we move on with any more of that 4th question, who you'd be without it, and the turnaround. So the guilt. Now, what are you addicted to? What substances? Is it sleep? Is it chocolate? Is it alcohol? Is it tranquilizers? I'm not saying don't take them if they're doctor prescribed. It's just, how do you react? What addiction kicks in when you think, when this reoccurs to you? It's
control. It's not, I don't, my addictions are
control.
Like behaviors.
Yeah. So you're strict, controlled.
Rigid.
Rigid. Okay, now look at him when he says, I wish it wasn't a school day without your story.
Also, what's coming up too is I'm addicted to trying to make him love me. So I'm looking at him.
He says he doesn't want to go to school. Can you find an opposite for that?
I don't want to go to school.
Yeah, you don't want to go to school.
Not at home. I don't want to do school at home.
No. And you don't want to support him in his school, but you feel you have to.
Yeah.
And then there's guilt when you don't.
Yes.
And now he's really going to be a failure as an adult. Yeah. Okay, precious. He said, I don't want to go to school. Who would you be without your story? Without the post-it, he's going to be a failure. Look at that little guy. Just drop all your erroneous, don't know saga of the future and just look and get connected.
Who would I be?
Yes.
Spacious.
Connected.
Yeah.
Understanding.
Loving.
Present with your son.
Yes. Yes.
There to support him.
Yeah. I would see clearly. I would see his essence. I would see his heart.
You know, this is so powerful. You would see him clearly. You see this image of him in the future and him saying he doesn't want to go to school in the past. And you see this and you don't see the child in front of you. You see your child imagined in your head and you put it on him. It's a case of false identity. That is not your son in your head. Your son is right here, right now in that situation.
He's a child of God.
Yes, he's a child of yours. And so are you. You're thinking against yourself. You see that sun in your mind's eye, that's not your sun. That's the sun of your imagination. And you're comparing this sun of your imagination, this failure, with this little 8-year-old. Mistaken identity. And then you punish the wrong son.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's on you. That's all yours. That sun in your head is, I can't say it enough. That's not real. That's imagination. It's ego.
I can't see me clearly either when I'm thinking that thought.
You're being dreamed.
Yeah.
You see people pointing the finger, it's her fault, he's an alcoholic. That's not you. That's imagination again. That's you older, like he's 10 years older. That's you think 10 years. That's imagination. That's not you. That's ego at play. And so you treat your son like he was that false identity. You know, I'll say it another way, sweetheart. It's like, let's say Stephen says something and I get my feelings hurt. And then the next morning, I'm in the kitchen and he comes in and I give him the look. Okay. So I'm punished. There's a Stephen in my head, imagining Stephen last night. There's a Stephen in my head. And he says, "Good morning, honey." And I go, "Yeah, sure." I am punishing the wrong man. There's the Stephen of my imagination. And then there's the real deal. Right here, right now. That's all I ever have to deal with. He says, "Good morning, sweetheart." I'm not confused. I know the difference between imagination and reality. "Good morning, sweetheart." Oh my God. There's nothing to stop me from loving him. Nothing. I'm awake to the not now, the not now, the not now of apparent past and future, and it's not. And for me, you know, this work is school. It wakes me up to the difference between what's imagined and this beautiful life, this flawless, friendly universe. This flawless child of yours, we take the past and future off of them and we meet them for the very first time. And that's all we ever have to deal with. Ever. So it's good to be in reality. And you've, to my mind, been through a lot. And you're doing really well when you consider that. You know, we're all children until we're awake to what's real. Imagination, it's the ego's survival, and it's okay to wake up to it. Because once the ego trusts, it's just present with you. It finds a home literally in what matters. He doesn't want to go to school. Can you see another turnaround? He does.
That feels like sugar sprinkled on a poop sandwich, like not real.
Okay, so we don't want to do that. We're just kind of just trying it on. He does want to go to school.
Does want to go to school.
Building Legos is a kind of school.
Yeah. I was just thinking he does want to learn.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to go to that school. So, you go to this school, and then let's come back to the Lego school afterward. And what I appreciate about you is you're really good at Legos. And I really admire you for that. And when I see how smart you are and how good you are at that, I think you'd be really good at school too. And if you need any help, I'm here for you. So let's do that and then come back to it opens up a whole conversation that's authentic. That's the point. And it's based on reality. It includes what you both want. It doesn't have to be, there doesn't have to be division.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the clear mind to see, and you're seeing it. Seems to me. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much, Katie. I appreciate you.
Oh, and you, Precious. Thank you for supporting us to sort this out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyone else, anything you'd like to share? Any insights you've experienced today? Any questions?
We have a Javon.
Javon, hi. Hi. Oh, we can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't believe that I made it to talk. I already thought all is lost.
Oh, you were just being thought again. It's
Yeah.
like I can't even say I'm thinking. I'm being thought, and so noticing that it gives me opportunity to identify it and question it. So, hi, Javon.
So the main issue for me that I recognize the source of my suffering is what you were talking about, that you recognize that the universe is friendly.
Yeah.
And I have a belief that the universe is not friendly and that I cannot trust it.
Yeah, and you have a right to feel that way. We live in a trance, and until we don't. And this is about identifying and questioning the trance that we're identified in.
Yeah.
So, you have every right to believe the universe is unfriendly and not to trust it. So, what is, give me an example. What is it that you just take for granted is going to happen that is not a friendly universe?
There is a thought in my mind that I'm not gonna make it, that I'll end up homeless, nobody would, home alone, like not
And no one
out in
would,
the street alone.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you're homeless, you're on the streets alone, okay, and I invite you all to go here. And so now just find a place to go sit. Maybe against a wall, maybe on a main street, maybe you're sitting on a curb, maybe you're in an alley, maybe you're under a bridge somewhere. And there's no food, you're hungry, people look at you and they just walk around you, or maybe they look at you and they say, oh, what are people like that? Why don't they go back to where they came from? So just witness that. Just be there now. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now feel, describe where you are. Are you sitting on dirt, concrete? Where are you?
I'm sitting on a sidewalk. Yeah, in the middle of the street.
Okay, in the middle of the street. Are there cars going up and down the street? You're sitting on the street, on the curb.
There are cars going up and down the street.
Okay, and you're sitting, are you leaning against a building?
No.
Just sitting there on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watching the cars go by. And you see cars and you see people. And they're walking and they're looking at you. Okay, so now feel the ground holding you, the sidewalk. See, to me, that's a friendly universe. It's supporting me. Now feel the breath that comes in and out of you. Now, is the sun shining or is it behind a cloud? Just
The sun is shining.
Now notice the people walking by. What do you see?
They're ignoring me.
They ignore you. In other words, they pass by, they don't even look at you. They just ignore you. Okay. Now, Javon, other than what you're thinking and believing in that situation on the sidewalk, are you okay?
Yes.
So what is the cause of your suffering?
My thoughts.
So the worst that can happen in that situation is what you're thinking and believing. They come and get you and they throw you in a police car. The worst that can happen is what you're thinking and believing. This work is preventive medicine. And I'm in Earth School and I don't know what's coming, but I have been testing this for a long time. And I can find no exception. And I invite you and I challenge you to prove me wrong.
I can easily challenge myself to prove myself wrong. I lost my house in the Valley Fire and it was all totally fine.
Yeah, but only in reality.
Yeah, only in reality, but not in my mind.
And you know, those people walking by that just ignore you? Have you ever been so lost in thought that you didn't see the person on the street that you did see?
Many times.
Yeah. So it wasn't about that person. It wasn't about the person you were ignoring. You were wrapped up in thought. You were wrapped up in, and if I'm starving and people don't give me food or money to buy food, it's because they're frightened. In other words, if I say, would you feed me, please? And they say, get a job. How could they give me money when they're believers? They're believing what they think about me. They're believers. Where is my compassion? What I am believing and thinking about them, if I don't understand, then inquiry travels with me as long as I can't even say that's true. I can't even prove there's ever been a thought. Meaning even that is in the past. And realizing these things was not enough. Inquiry, it gets them. Every little molecule of mind, every little illusion deserves respect. And I know nothing more respectful than making love the mind with the mind. It's a beautiful thing. If my war is at mind with itself, then I'm at war with the world. So inquiry gives us a home in ourselves, the end of war. And the apparent world is the illusion that feeds us to wake us up. I believed me in and I questioned me out. This false me, this false
I understand all that, and my problem is that I get stuck in the phase 4 and the inquiry of how do you feel without that thought?
Well,
It's just too much for me.
Oh, too much. It's not how do you feel, it's who would I be?
Who would I be? Yeah.
Who am I? What am I? What would I be without the thought? Who am I? And it's helpful, like my mind goes, and I'm doing the word, I come back, and it's like, who would I be without the thought? This could be helpful. Woman sitting in chair, talking to friend. Like here now. And the deeper you go into it, eventually you may lose that and find yourself back out of a whole state of mind. You're not back, but you're back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
I
you're
get it.
so welcome. Good to travel with you. And those of you that are new to the work, I hope that you have an introduction here that was understandable enough to support you. And you have an entire worksheet to do to sit in. And if you get stuck, you can print these one belief at a time worksheets out, and you can take, like on the judge your neighbor worksheet, I want Paul to see that he is wrong. Okay, now I might take that to a one belief at a time worksheet. It's like training wheels until you just don't need it anymore. It'll just hold you in it. The work is always free on thework.com, byronkatie.com. And, you know, I would ask if there, you know, if there's a question in chat, not sure which inquiry sheets to use for different situations. Okay, the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, that's the one. And the I Complain About worksheet is, it's a meditative process. Like those of you at home, for example, or those of you at work, you're just walking through your day and you think, darn, why hasn't he called me? Okay, I complain about him because he hasn't called me. And so you move it from your head to paper. And then you go throughout your day and, oh gosh, I don't want to do the dishes. I complain about the dishes because they're in the sink. You would do that your own way. I complain about me because I don't want to do the dishes. But it's a practice that supports you to be mindfully aware of your mind full of what? move it from here to paper, these judgments. You know, you could look at anything that you can see from where you're sitting right now, and just look at anything and just wait, and your ego will find a complaint about it. Like I look at the, gosh, at the cup here, you know, there's a cup sitting here, and it's, oh my, it's an ugly color. It's green on white. I see coffee stains around the top. It's in the wrong position. I know it has a handle, but I can't see it. So yeah, I complain about. So just notice how the ego works, and don't expect it to do anything but be really good at drawing your attention to what is not now and what is wrong in this with this friendly universe. Okay, so that's the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. It's where I fill in my thoughts about any given situation. And then the One Belief at a Time worksheet is there to support me, like training wheels, until I can really get this established inside of me. And then the I complain about is just kind of just noticing how the ego doesn't rest. It is, you know, he did this and she did that, and I need, and da, 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 da. So I love the mind. I love the ego. There's an understanding that that we're all capable of. And I would like to thank Insight LA for the invitation to join you all here today, and for this platform that they've provided for all of us. And there's an At Home with Byron Katie, At Home with BK, live for 1 hour, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 10 Pacific time. And then we do reruns the rest of the week of like the best of the week, whatever that means. And the work is always available to you on thework.com, and the real work is done internally in silence. And if you wonder what to work on, just watch your life. You know, I love this, he says he doesn't want to go to school. You know, just the simplest things just drive us nuts. The ego requires it. So again, thank you. Thank you, Inside LA, for providing this time together. Thank you, family. It's done.
Thank you so much, Katie. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you. This internal world, huh?
Yes, that was.
Oh, the mind is such a trickster. It's like we watch this movie, we don't even know what's going on, and then these emotions, and then the way we take it out on people, and then the guilt we feel, and the addictive behavior that is ignited. It's quite a journey.
Yes, it is. And thank you everyone today for sharing the journey with us. I went ahead and posted the link to go to Byron Katie's events every Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, I love that hour so much. I interrupted you. See, I talked over her, didn't I?
Very welcomed, though. It's we love everything that you say. You can also check out insidela.org/online for more online events. And I went ahead and opened the chat, so please feel free to share any insights or any inspirations that you feel, and we'll leave that open for another 30 minutes or so. So thank you, everyone.